Well, they call me Doc Jr. or Little Doc. So sometimes life isn't a choice, it's something that evolved. My father was a physician, and when he passed when I was 13, I didn't decide I want to go be a chef. I was Doc Randall's son till I was 29 years old when I realized that I was Chef Joe Randall. Well, from the beginning, I cooked in the kitchen with my mother because I like to eat. My uncle was a chef. His name was Richard Ross. He had a catering business and a restaurant in Pittsburgh. And he kind of took me under his wing and gave me a tease. He catered parties and I'd go cater with him. And so for those next few years, before I went in the Air Force, I worked with him. But I always liked to eat, so being in the kitchen wasn't a problem for me. And when I went in the Air Force, Uncle Sam decided that I would be a cook. And so I followed the path. It was the door that was open for me and I walked through it. Well, I was very fortunate. While I was in the Air Force, I worked on flight line kitchens serving officers, KC-135 B-52 crews. And contrary to what some people believe, officers eat better than the rest of the service people. So I was cooking prime rib, veal, lamb, steaks, at a different level than they ate at regular mess halls. When I got out of the Air Force, you go for unemployment insurance and they try to put you to work right away, so they found me a job at a restaurant. First restaurant I went to work at as a cook was called the Chalet in Dillsburg, Pennsylvania. But I knew that I wanted to do more than just cook. I trained in the North under Southern chefs and Southern cooks, and so I'm knowledgeable about the taste and presentation of Southern food. Southern cooking is the foundation of food in America. Prior to 1983, there was no such thing as American regional cooking. There was no such thing as West Coast California cuisine. It was just good food and bad food. Unfortunately, in this country, we as African Americans and the food of America, we were the foundation, the backbone in the kitchen. And so African Americans were, it was low wages, long hours, and hard work. But it was something that we had a door that was open, an avenue we were allowed to go, and we took it and did well in it. In the 60s, African Americans began to get attributed to things like soul train, soul music, and the term soul food evolved. Prior to that, it was just Southern food. Now, there are historians, there are scholars who talk to the difference of slave food when they talk about the parts that the master would need. But the slaves cooked it and figured out a way to make it tasty and delicacy. Eventually, the masters ate it too because it was good. I learned that being the best cook in the world, if you're a nasty person, won't nobody hire you. So you got to be likable and be good at what you do. If people don't like you, they won't want you around. Some young people don't have a vision of what it is to be a part of a brigade. That is the whole crew in the kitchen. On my own time, I developed Chef Joe Randall's cooking school at Living Good. I taught classes there for 6 months. So I found a small bungalow on Waters Avenue, built it out, and for 17 years I taught cooking classes. So it's just, I don't know what I would have been. It's possible if my father had lived, I might have become a doctor, but he was gone, and I believe God directed my path. And so here's where I ended up. I don't care who you are, how good you cook. It means nothing if someone else doesn't enjoy what you prepare with your hands. And seeing the joy on people's faces when they taste it and eat it and share with me how good it is or what it makes them feel like. That's the reward of having that talent. See, one thing I know, if you learn how to cook, you can cook anywhere in the world. Thus, I was known the dean of Southern cuisine.